Hello, everybody. This is Ed Wiens. I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina this evening, and my wife Rebekah is here with me. And we're excited to be able to spend a few minutes with you talking about what's become one of our most favorite topics to talk about, and that's Asea, the company, the product, the business side of it. And we thank you for taking a few minutes to be with us. You know, you're in different situations. Some of you perhaps are in a group setting where you've had somebody kind of tell you a little bit about this, and then they've flipped this on because of it's a live presentation. We record it, of course. So we're here to fill in the blanks, maybe to bold a few points, put an exclamation point where it belongs. And then maybe some of you are watching this on your phone, your portable device somewhere. I know that we've got people watching this live from all different parts of the globe. I've had text messages here from the Philippines and Singapore and Australia and all across the country. So wherever you are and whatever day it is, night or day, we appreciate you taking time to be here. So Rebekah, what I'd like to do at the beginning is just go back to the beginning, to when I first got a phone call in late 2009 about this new company starting in Salt Lake City. I just didn't have, it wasn't the right time for me or the right set of circumstances for me to go check it out. Rebekah and I really only had been married about 6 months at that point. She's a nurse, a very research-minded nurse. And so I prevailed on her. I said, listen, I've got a call. Good friends. I've known them for, at that time, I think 15 years, trusted them implicitly. I said, would you go and kind of check this company out? It's a new company, never heard of them, don't know what the product is. So on a cold January day in 2010, you got on a plane here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and went to Salt Lake City. So kind of describe how that experience was for you.
So I agreed to go in his place, and mainly did that because I trusted Chuck and Tammy Gates and was curious, and I went with an open mind. And when I got there, it was interesting to me because I expected something different, but what I saw I really liked. The people there were very professional, but yet they were warm. The facilities were first class, but yet they weren't glitzy. And that gave me a clear impression that these people had something to offer. They were on a mission to make it known. They had done what they needed to do to lay the groundwork for that, but they weren't into just making a big show. I really appreciated that. I came home, shared what I saw with Ed, and...
Well, you said we registered, and we registered, but it really didn't register with me at that point what all this was. I was a little distracted by just other things. You were still working full-time job as a nurse. And so truthfully, this just didn't get our attention for a while. Kind of ashamed to say that. And I finally came to grips with the reality that I've been a poor steward of some good information and some knowledge that I hadn't taken really good care of. And over 4 years, almost 5 years had gone by. And circumstances changed. And 3 years ago, we looked at this from a different angle, took another serious took a hold of the reins and began to engage aggressively with this. And I'm going to tell you, it's been the most productive, most profitable, the most enjoyable, fruitful chapter of my 30-some years in this industry. And even for you in your career as a healthcare professional, this has added a whole new dimension to that. We'll kind of touch on that. But I want to kind of just tee up the whole conversation here just a little bit for you. You know, there are a lot of different facets to what Asea is. And we're not here to presuppose that it needs to fit any one particular piece of the template for you. There are some people who look at this and they're looking for prevention. They're prevention minded. They embrace the concept of may you never know what you prevent. And they're looking to adopt into their life and their routine products or principles or practices that are going to help them live a preventive lifestyle. And that's extremely valid. Other people have health issues and they're looking to Asea to hopefully address some of those. We don't make any claims. We're not here to name a condition and say it's going to help with this. We don't treat anything. We don't offer any cures. It's not a medical product. So, but there are people who want to address a health issue of some kind, or they know somebody that they want to help, and that's their motivation for looking at Asea. Perfectly valid. We have people on the other hand, the other end of the spectrum that are world-class athletes, Olympic caliber athletes, and they're They're looking for products that are legal and safe and effective, that are going to help them have more energy, more stamina, quicker recovery time, and we have a lot of athletes that are embracing Asea from that angle. There's a business side to this. We'll touch on it. We're not going to just hammer that point all night long, but we can't ignore it and give you a proper description of what Asea is. So there are people who want to just, get the product. They want to just get the product at wholesale, or they want to make a little bit extra to add to their household budget, or they want to replace what they're doing for a job, or they're retired looking for something to do. Some big thinkers want to become, legacy income builders. All of the above is possible. All of it's being done. And so I don't know what part of it might interest you. Hopefully one particular angle, will be a connection point for you. Let me just say this too, in a general sense, just about information. There's 3 categories of it. All information in the world fits in on 3 categories. It's the stuff that you know, that's your schooling, your profession, your career, whatever you've worked at. There's the stuff that you don't know. For example, quantum physics, the laws of thermodynamics. You may know those things exist, but you just know that you don't know them. I hope you can agree with me that the largest category of knowledge out there, period, is the stuff that you don't know. The longer I live, I realize that's a bigger category than I ever thought it was. For most people, that's where Asea belongs. They just don't know that they don't know about redox signaling molecules or redox biochemistry. So let's talk about that just for a second, Rebekah, because you and I have had conversations over the last months with several medical professionals. I mean, from a neurosurgeon, oral surgeon, dentist, eye doctor, plastic surgeon, skin cancer specialist, a number of your nursing colleagues. And I typically ask them this question: what do you know about redox signaling molecules? And most of the time, the answer is never heard of it. Doesn't matter how many degrees they have, never heard of it. One of those 6 I asked was the youngest of all. He was a recent graduate of Duke University. He says, yeah, we're studying that. So I just tell him, listen, hey, it's no reflection on you, just a reflection on the fact that you got your education prior to the late 1990s. I tell them, go to PubMed. Now, learn what PubMed is. Tell the folks what PubMed is.
PubMed is a website that is monitored by the government. All of the articles that are published there have been peer-reviewed. They're studies by professionals. They've been peer-reviewed. They've been approved. And it's probably the most reliable site that you can go to obtain information about most any health condition. If you just go there and you type in redox signaling and whatever it is you're interested in, there's about 15,000 articles that talk about redox signaling in them. It's a good site to go. It's like publications, medications, except PubMed. It's just shortened .gov.
Yeah, and you can find out there that the redox molecules are connected to every function of human anatomy. And it's in a quickly growing. I think when I first looked at that site, there was 9,000 entries, and now it's over 15,000. I show them this book. I'll say this is just one of probably 1,200 textbooks that have been written about the whole science of redox biochemistry. You can see this is a significant book. Great doorstop. It's heavy. This is a great reference here. This is Huffington Post, the publication Huffington Post, a little over a year ago, put out an article. And it says 5 emerging technologies in science that will shape our lives in the coming years. It listed all 5: organic electronics, nutrigenomics, synthetic biology, neuromorphic engineering. Number 4 was redox signaling technology. They actually named our company, showed our product. This is powerful validation. So it's out there. It's growing in awareness. You may not have heard about it. Your friends may not have heard about it. Your doctor may not have heard about it. They will. They will. You just happen to be part of a small sampling of folks that the circle of information is beginning to expand. And thankfully, it's now included you. So I think the thing that would be helpful, Rick, is starting out is just what is Asea? People typically have that basic question. And before we even answer that question, answer this one for me. What is it not?
Well, it's in a category by itself. It's not a vitamin, it's not a juice, it's not a weight loss product, it's not an energy drink, it's not just water, and it is not expensive salt water from Salt Lake City, which some of the skeptics tend to like to say.
Yeah, I'm an old surfer. I swallowed a good deal of salt water in my day. This is not salt water. I definitely know the difference. But let's talk about what it is. And I'm gonna do something here and ask you to play with me here. I'm going to try to describe it because we've got to keep this simple enough that some people have said it needs to be things that are described at about a 6th, 7th, or 8th grade level. This can vary. I've listened to biologists and physicists and molecular scientists try to describe this, and it's just way over my head. So let me boil it down to a simple enough description that hopefully anybody can get it. And you keep me on track. If I steer off, So we're made up of cells, 70, 75 trillion cells in your body, huge number. We live and die at the cellular level. When your cells are healthy, you're healthy. When your cells are unhealthy, disease, dysfunction takes place. So the cellular level is kind of the basics of life. Cells are amazingly complex. King David in the Old Testament said we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and I really don't think he had any idea the extent to which that is true. Inside your cells, like a little city, there's transportation, and there's waste management, and there's communication, there's food production, there's a power plant in your cell. And the power plant's creating energy that you have to have just to function. Power plant's called the mitochondria. New word to me since I got into SEA. Wasn't a science geek growing up, or a chemistry or biology geek. So mitochondria creates the energy. The energy is abbreviated as ATP, which is
adenosine triphosphate.
That's the energy, the fuel that your body has to have just to function. Even when you're asleep, your heart's got to beat, you're breathing, your circulation's working, all of that has to be. Of course, when you're awake and you're working, it's even more consumption of energy. The process of creating the energy kicks off these little molecules, reductants and oxidants. That's where the word redox comes from. Always they had been considered as a waste product, just a byproduct of creating the energy, non-essential molecules, until science discovered in the late 90s that they're not the non-essential molecules. They're the signaling molecules that your cells have to have to communicate with everything else and to help cells do their function, fulfill their function, to signal diseased and damaged cells to be repaired or be replaced. And when your signaling environment diminishes, as it does just through age or through disease or stress or whatever, the signaling in your body is compromised. It's like having one of these fancy devices that's got tremendous capability, but if the signaling environment is compromised, it doesn't work the way it's supposed to. If you got an emergency and you're in an area where you don't have a good signal to reach a fire department or an ambulance, bad things can happen. Same thing in your body. If the signaling environment is somehow diminished to the point where things don't communicate, bad things happen. They say it's about 10% per decade after puberty, they begin to diminish.
So by 70, you've got about 30% function.
Yeah, you don't have as many, about 10% of what you had when you were 7. So what happens with Asea, what Asea has done, quite honestly, is done what science said was impossible. This product starts out as salt and water. Two basic things that are just essential to life on the planet. It starts out as salt and water. It goes through a very, very complex, highly secret, highly patented process over 3 days. The other end of that process, don't ask me to describe it. Don't ask Asea to give you the formula, no more than Coke would give you their formula. But at the end of this process, there's a bottle with trillions of redox signaling molecules. This is no longer salt water. These are redox signaling molecules. So when you drink a little bit of this, you are supplementing your body's naturally dwindling supply of these molecules that are essential. Your brain recognizes it. It says, oh, I need these. And so wherever you've got the battle raging in your body, this is like sending trillions of extra troops to Central Command, and your brain sends them out where you need them. Tell them the difference. This was a big aha for me, Rebekah, is to know the difference between natural and native.
Well, I like to use this example. We talk about natural, that came on the scene quite a few years ago. But I always say, arsenic, lead, mercury, that's all natural too, but I don't want it in my body. That's being a little facetious, but indeed, let's go back to something more basic. Blueberries are natural. They're good for you. but it's still not something that's native to your body. Your body has to take it, break it down into something that's usable. Redox signaling molecules are native to your body. When you take a supplement of redox signaling molecules, your body recognizes it right away, assimilates it quickly, doesn't have to break it down or process it into another form to be able to use it.
And nobody's allergic to it.
Nope.
Because you've already got it in your body. It's not toxic at any level. Initial research was trying to figure out what the toxic level of this was, and there isn't one. It's less toxic than water, anything else that you're drinking. So people sometimes wonder, well, is it safe? It's as safe as swallowing your own saliva. There's nothing that you're doing medically that is compromised by this. It's natural. It's native to your body. That's important. That's an important thing to learn. Of course, what's in the gel is also compatible with your body's health. It's got some additional ingredients just to make a gel consistency out of it, but this applies the same technology to your body externally. One of our docs has coined a little formula. We call it the 3 and 5. If you're where you can get your hands on this, put this where it hurts, rub it on some sore spot or whatever, 3 times in 5 minutes. You do this with 10 people, 9 out of the 10 are going to have immediate results and notice the benefit. So this is great because the results are visible. They're on the outside, much quicker to notice sometimes than this. But this is simply cellular health from the inside out, cellular health from the outside in. One of the things, Rebekah, I know that was a key for you, it's easy to understand how important redox molecules are. It's easy to understand that they're diminishing as we age, but there was a missing piece of the puzzle for you that had to be filled in.
Right. So when I say we got into Asea in August of 2014, because that's when we made the decision to do this business. But Asea couldn't quite get into me for a little while because the missing piece was I needed to know that what is in this bottle are indeed redox signaling molecules. And sometime in 2015, an independent laboratory took the product, studied it, published their findings, verified that it's redox signaling molecules. And what made it even sweeter was that that independent laboratory was here in Durham, North Carolina. And I thought, there's some smart folks here, I'm in. So Asea started to really get into me where I felt more confident to share it.
Right here, Bioagiletics Laboratories. We've been to the building. We've stood there, looked at it. It's a real place. This company actually does research for most of the major drug companies in the world, and they analyze their product, document, verify the ingredients, and monitor the ongoing quality of their production. A portion of every production run at Asea's plant gets sent to Bioagiletics for that kind of analysis. So they put right on our bottle, redox certified by Bioagiletics Laboratories. That's an important piece of North Carolina-based independent scientific validation, and we're proud to tout that wherever we go in the world. Research Triangle is a lot of smart folks there. They got more PhDs per capita working there than any place in the world, and that's where this lab is located. But there was some other third-party validation too, Rebekah. There's a lab in Germany, Dermatest, that did some tests. They test skincare products for companies all over the world. They tested this, Smith & Associates in Dallas. I thought it was most interesting that 90% of those that were tested wanted to buy the product. That they saw the results, the ones being tested,
right,
saw the results, wanted the product. At our recent convention, there was another study that was completed and published, and that was probably one of the most reassuring for you and I especially, but one of the most telling about what the product does. And this was the Tourette Laboratories in Salt Lake City, and I'd love for you to highlight what they documented they know this product does.
So they did a study on a group of 35-year-olds, basically healthy people, not older people, and they studied to see what effect it had on genetic pathways. And indeed, it had a positive effect on 5 different genetic pathways. I'm going to break it down just a little simple. If you've got somebody that's really medically minded that wants all the white papers, the scientific write-ups, we certainly have that available. Your sponsor can tell you where to get it. But in short, what it showed was that this product improves immune system health, helps maintain a healthy inflammatory response. It helps maintain cardiovascular health and supports arterial elasticity. It improves gut health and digestive enzyme production, and it modulates hormone balance to support vitality and wellness. You don't ever have to worry about spitting that back out at someone, because it's indeed a lot of words, but the company has put these very words on the label of the new labels on the bottle. You can easily have it right at your disposal to be able just to read it off to someone and not have to be expected to remember it all.
So I'm following along. It's right here. It's not the same, not black and white, blue and white, but it's right here on the bottle. We basically have a presentation on a bottle. It has simplified things so much for us. In fact, we even kind of boiled it down as there's basically 3 basic questions. So you get to grill me again on what the 3 questions are and see if I got it down pat yet.
What is Asea?
Oh, gee, Asea is cell signaling supplement right here on the bottle.
What does it do? It
turns on genes.
And why do I need it?
Because our cells are breaking down. It's that simple. So what does it do? What is it? What does it do? And why do I need it? 3 simple questions, 3 simple answers. You don't have to understand the science. You don't have to be able to explain what all redox molecules are. This is the simplest product line I've ever been associated with. Take the cap off and drink a little bit every day. Take the cap off the tube, rub it on your skin, anywhere you have skin. It's that simple. What's really driving this, Rebekah, is the results. And we could tell product stories. We can show pictures. We have before and after pictures of what the gel has done. We've got websites, Facebook pages that are just testimonial pages, YouTube. So what's driving this company, and now after 8 years of history, is not that there's studies being published. That's all great. But most people are like me. They don't want to know. I mean, there are some people who actually know what's going on inside this device. I don't need to know that for it to work for me. All I want it to do is just work when I turn it on. The same is true. I'm not trying to be, a dunce or anything, but you don't have to know what's in here for it to do what it does. I'm thinking, after tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands, I think 10 million portions now have been manufactured. What is it? Another test, another study to document what this is doing? We've got so many people who've experienced this. We've got a great experience on our own household here. I want Rebekah just to kind of give you the succinct capsule of what she's experienced, and of course, close enough to me that I've experienced along with her over the last 3 months has been enough to really cement our commitment to this company for as long as we've got breath.
So on July 13th, I went into surgery for a large bulge in an artery in my brain. And first of all, my doctor was just really impressed with my overall health, was just very complimentary. The whole team was. But 48 hours after that surgery, I walked out of intensive care, out of the hospital, and have done very well. So 6 weeks later, I asked him, I said, how many people live with a bulge that's 7 times the size of the artery? And he drops his shoulders, shrugs them, says, we don't know. 50% of people are dead before it reaches that size. So I began to do some research and went on to PubMed, my favorite site, and I put in that problem and rupture versus non-rupture. And one of the common threads through the articles that I read was degree of inflammation in the body. So we already knew that Asea decreased inflammations. Prior studies had, given us that scientific validation, but I knew in my gut there was something more. And so when we got to convention, and I remember Tammy saying, Tammy, what do I need to know? Why am I still here? What's going on? And she said, you're going to be really excited. We got to convention, and when they revealed this study, this genetics study, and it said it increases arterial elasticity, I was like, bam, I knew it. So the clarity that I received with the new science, the clarity that I received with being able to share by making the information simple on the bottle, what I had experienced has given me a conviction to share and a confidence to share without hesitation with anyone that I meet. It's just something that now I feel an obligation to do. How will people know if we don't tell them?
Well, certainly when those conclusions were revealed at convention, it was just a huge confirmation for we believe one of the real reasons why Rebekah's here to tell the story. Had she not proactively 3 years ago began to take this product and even unbeknownst to her, create a preventive environment that she was going to need down the road, it very likely could have been something that would have just cut things short. So we're just extremely thankful, extremely grateful. And what I would say to you is that you don't know what's brewing. You don't know what level of prevention you may need or someone close to you may need down the road. Rebekah's story is one of thousands of stories around there that are just life-changing, life-enhancing, in some cases life-extending that people are experiencing. So that's what's creating the growth of this company, is the fact that the product does for people what it does. And when that happens, there's a sense of obligation and responsibility she's alluded to that you just have to share it. That same sense of obligation is what allowed our founders, or what prompted our founders to bring this company, this product to the marketplace the way that they did. It's an interesting story. I won't tell you the whole genesis story here. You can find that information. Whoever connected you to this presentation can get that for you. But basically, we had smart people from the corporate background that had a chance to get their hands on this technology and make a decision about how to bring it to the marketplace. You wanted to add something? Okay. They decided to not take the big payout that a drug company was extending to them, but instead to bring it to the market via the old time tested, proven methodology that depends on word of mouth distribution. You know, if you're going to rely on word of mouth to distribute your product or your service, you better have something worth talking about in a positive light. And we do, and that's why this company's grown the way that it has. I'm going to give you some bullet points about the company. We can give you all kinds of reference sources for this. This company is now 8 years old. We've got bright, brilliant people from the Fortune 50, Fortune 100 backgrounds, coupled now with some of the brightest minds in this industry that are at the helm. They make smart decisions. They're in touch. They're engaged. I think one thing that's a distinguishing factor here. A lot of companies in this industry are somebody's financial brainchild, and then they go find a product because you have to have a product or a service to kind of be legit. This was a product first that was proven to have life-enhancing benefits that was then connected to a marketing methodology because it works. It just works. You may have been introduced to this concept back in the 60s or 70s or 80s. This is the 2000s, the late 2000 teens. This industry has matured. Word of mouth today is streamlined. We're talking on portable devices here. People are watching this around the world right now live because technology has facilitated the spread of the word of mouth today like never before in our lifetimes. So this company they've been profitable since their first year. They've got no long-term debt. They're financially very, very streamlined. They've got plenty of assets. They own their own manufacturing facility. They don't outsource this. They've actually got the manufacturing facility has the capability of producing nearly 10 times what we're producing in terms of sales in the field. They're just committed to stay ahead of us. We're not going to run into a situation where, gee, we're out of that product or it's backordered. They can stay ahead of us, and that's reassuring to us in the market in the marketing side of this. They've just completed a new world headquarters facility, which we visited that, and like your first experience was, it's beautiful, it's efficient, it's modern, it's streamlined, but it's not palatial. It's not ostentatious. You don't get the feeling that they're just throwing money around casually. And I've been around them enough to know that they're not doing this just so they can buy a bigger ranch or buy a private island someplace. They're making decisions with a field first mentality, which is so refreshing. I've been in the industry for a long time and seen when that's not the case. And to have that kind of priority thinking there on our behalf for our benefit is so valuable. They just upgraded the entire IT platform to be compatible with their growth internationally, was to be able to handle additional currencies, additional languaging, and so forth. We're in 30 plus countries. We're just now expanding into Asia, which many believe will end up being the largest portion of our marketplace. So we're at a point as a company where we're post-launch, post-risk, but pre-momentum. That is called the sweet spot of timing. If you can find a company with this kind of track record, we're going to hit the 100 million threshold this year, which typically is a launch pad for a momentum phase. If you can find an opportunity at that juncture, that's a sweet spot. We're there. We're there. This is right time, right place. The benefit of being in the right time in the right place is when you recognize it and you take action and not just look back and say, gee, I guess I wasn't the right time in the right place. I just didn't know it. So here's some options for you. One is you can just say, hey, thanks, not for me. We respect that, and thank you for taking the time to look at it. You might just decide, you know what? Let me just buy the product. Not a problem. You can be a customer. You can be a retail customer if you want. We recommend take the product for 90 days. Give yourself a 90-day commitment. If you're dealing with some kind of health issue, I assure you it didn't just happen last week. It's probably been going on for a while. No trial of any kind, no study is done in less than 90 days. So give your body a chance. Give the product a chance. Make a 90-day commitment by becoming at least a preferred customer where you can buy the product at wholesale. You're not locked into a contract. It's very user-friendly. You can cancel it, postpone it, up it, decrease it, whatever. We recommend join us as an associate. It's a whole $40 here in the U.S. $40 puts you in a position to buy the product at wholesale, get access to all the information in the back office. It also qualifies you to buy an enrollment pack, which may be the most cost-effective way for you to get the product, for you to use, for those in your household to use. You don't have to fill your garage full of product. You don't have to fill a closet. Just get enough product to really get launched off the ground. You can qualify to buy an enrollment pack if you become an associate. Some of those packs, they'll waive the associate fee just because they, you know what? They say you're getting 3 or 4 cases of product. We're going to waive the $40. That's really the way to launch it. So I'll just tell you this, the industry itself, the business part of this, I've become a fan of it over the years. I've become a real student of it. It's been good to me as an industry. Yeah, I know people have had experiences in the past. You need to just push those aside and realize that the network marketing business model is the most fair, the most honorable, the most noble way to get compensated for what you do. You only earn an income in this business at the service of other people, never at the expense of other people. If you'll put on your servant hat, roll up your sleeves, so to speak, and go to work on behalf of folks, you'll find yourself doing what Zig Ziglar said. You can help, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And I can just tell you, Rebekah, we engaged 3 years ago, but she was still working a busy job as a nurse, most recently in a military hospital here on a large Army base. I've been full-time engaged with this, but March, just about 90 days ago, maybe 4 months ago, she was able to step away from her job and basically join me full-time in this business. And it's kind of, you know, it was an adjustment. It's always an adjustment when you first do that. But I think you're kind of falling in love with the idea of being able to sleep till you're done in the morning and have the flexibility to go see grandkids. And we've got between us a number of grandkids spread out across different countries. And to be able to go do that, and like today, you had a day today.
Today was a real aha moment for me because we've been really busy with the business. But yesterday started a 4-day celebration of my 40th class reunion with people flying in and us wanting to get together all the time. And so I was able to do some of my Asea stuff this morning, hang out with my girlfriends from high school today, come in and do my work tonight. I owned my time. And it just occurred to me today that that's invaluable. I can literally have fun. I'm not locked in from 6:30 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. With not unable to have any flexibility. I can dictate what I do when I do it.
I kind of feel like I got my life back, and to be able to have that kind of flexibility and freedom and travel different places in the world. and know that we're, some people will say, well, gee, why would you want to bring your work with you to this beautiful resort? I'm thinking, look where I get to work. I've been out on fishing boats off the coast of Australia, my cell phone rings, and I'm thinking, I get to work out here while I'm fishing. We're on a golf course or wherever. It's that kind of flexibility on the train. So we're very, very committed to several, nonprofits. We do missions projects. We've done humanitarian projects, medical missions, and we support those kind of things. This has just given us the time freedom, the financial freedom, the resources to be able to really live our life on purpose and with passion. That's what we covet for you. And we're here to just be a part of the army of the Asea leadership that is committed to help you get out of this what you want. We're not here to impose on you what we're excited about. We're here to help you see the big picture. You tell the people who brought you to this presentation what you would like to get out of it. That's what we're committed to help you get. If that's a little bit, that's fine. If it's more, it may grow over time. We're just looking for people. I think of it in terms of missions. I'm a missionaries kid. We need some more missionaries. If you're an athlete, we have a starting position for you with all the coaching that you'll take. If you're a musician, we have a chair reserved for you so that you can play the instrument that you want to play in this beautiful music ensemble here we call Asea. So we thank you for taking time to watch this and spending a few minutes with us on our fireside chat here. We look forward to welcoming you to the Asea community and partnering with you to help expand the mission of this great company and this product literally around the world. Thank you. God bless you, and have a good rest of the day, rest of the night, wherever on the planet you happen to be at this moment. Take care.